Hey, all you ghouls and goblins. So today I'm gonna do my nails, and I've been wanting to do my nails for quite some time, but now we're naked. I'm gonna get ready, and my nails are gonna break soon. My pinky nail, look at this. But I do have this little, I don't know what this is for, but I bought it to work on an art project and it worked great, but I don't know what its intended use is. I'm checking. Is it actually focusing properly? I wanted to talk a little bit about Halloween in general. Satan's birthday. It's literally the most fun holiday. Why are you ruining it for your kids? And we'll see if I can keep a cohesive train of thought. How the hell? That's how the hell. Be creative, and we're very creative people. Not at every church, but at some that I went to, and some people that I knew who went to those churches would talk about how Halloween was the devil's birthday. Which, as a young person, I was like, that just sounds stupid. Like, what do you even mean? What does that mean? Fall time, and we're there Sunday morning, mischief and mayhem. What? Like, where in the Bible does it say anything about this? And like, also, the devil, as most people kind of see him or perceive him, is Lucifer, also known as Morning Star, which, like, for a bad guy is a really pretty name. I'm not trying to say I'm like here for Satan, but like, so Lucifer was an angel who, according to the Bible, he basically, and I am very much, giving you a brief rundown, he questioned what God was saying and was like, hey man, I'm not really feeling that. I don't agree. Why not? He questioned God, basically. And God didn't like that. So he got kicked out of heaven. He got like banished. But that's kind of like the gist that like most people know when you talk about Lucifer and kind of what happens. That's basically like the gist, is like he was kicked out of heaven. So when you say like, oh, the devil's birthday, quite literally, it's like, well, he was an angel. Angels don't have birthdays. The concept of a birthday didn't exist, like to God or like in heaven. So to say that already sounds like not correct to me. I'm acknowledging that I'm wrong, so deal with it. Spirit world and the mortal world are like, the lines between the two are kind of blurred. So that's actually kind of where dressing up, specifically wearing masks, kind of originates from, is to kind of protect yourself from any entities or spirits that might be from the other side. So how did it go from, hey, we're just going to protect ourselves from these demons and these spirits and stuff, to the devil's birthday? Well, I couldn't find a straightforward answer. And one of the big things with most major holidays, that the Christians just kind of like stole it. And they were like, hey, you guys need to become Christian, otherwise we're going to kill you. Which, I know some Christians are going to get their panties in a bunch, but the Crusades were a thing, guys. Like, just acknowledge that. Like most major holidays, Christians were like, oh hey, this holiday of yours is the same day as our holiday, oh my god. It's not true. I totally lost my train of thought. She is crooked as all heck. They were just like, you can't have any more fun, guys. It's bad, it's evil, and I'm like, it's just pumpkins and candy. It's so thick, and not in like a cash money way. There were actually these little cartoon, like these comic books, but it wasn't like it was like this little tiny like flip book kind of a thing. And I remember a bunch of kids were running around the church with them, and I'll see if I can find a picture to like throw up there for you. But a lot of kids were kind of like walking around with them and talking about them, and I worked with the kids a lot at church, and I was like, oh, like what is that? And they're like, oh, it's their teacher gave it to them, but it was like Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts with the Bible version. That's where a lot of kids were getting these little like comic flip books, and they were the most upsetting things I've ever seen. Like the one I remember so well because it really threw off my groove. It showed like a teacher talking to a student and like calling her stupid and all of these like mean, terrible things. Like this was a horrible teacher. And And I think like the gist of it was like, oh, that's like what Halloween does to people. Like Halloween is an evil time and it brings out the evilness in all of us. And I'm like, what are you telling these children? Like, no. And here's me. I'm already like a black sheep. I'm not problematic within the church, but like that I'm like, let me tell you actually about Halloween. It didn't go over great. Not everyone liked hearing what I had to say about Halloween. But I was like, I'm going to tell you all everything. Talking to these kids and they're asking about Halloween, I'm telling them, I was like, you know, actually, saying it's the devil's birthday, but you know, the devil is Lucifer, right? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, Lucifer was an angel. They're like, yeah. I'm like, do any of the other angels have birthdays? And then it kind of gets like the gears going and they start asking. I'm like, yeah, ask your parents questions. I'm gonna make it difficult for your parents. This video is gonna be a train wreck. John Paul? Probably not. I just feel like John Paul is just the name of like most of like the Catholic people in charge. You're anything other than Christian? No, can't have it. Not acceptable. Unacceptable conditions. What am I even talking about? So Hocus Pocus. I feel like I was allowed to watch Hocus Pocus. That was fine, but we actually weren't allowed to watch Halloween Town for quite some time. Actually, there were quite a few shows and movies that my siblings and I were not allowed to watch because they were not Christian, or they had things that went against Christianity. You're like, well, Hocus Pocus is about witches. You could watch that, and like, yeah, apparently that was fine. Halloween Town wasn't, because in the beginning of the movie, Marnie's grandma rolls up in, she's like, here's my bag, here's all these goodies, have a good time. And Marnie picks up a necklace that has a pentacle on it, puts it on, she goes to her, she's like, Mom, look at me, I'm a wicked. And my mother was like, no. None of that in my Christian household. But here's what, my dad wasn't cool with it either. Dad was just like, my parents were like, no. Nothing supernatural like that, even though, but why was Hocus Pocus fine? Mom, Dad, I'm glad I could watch Hocus Pocus, but now I'm thinking about it and I'm very confused. Like, clearly, like they talk about how they went to hell and how Winifred said it was quite lovely. My parents, their minds, I don't understand the thought behind this, guys. I'm so confused. What was I talking about? So I wanted to have a Halloween party, and actually I had a friend who I invited her and she was super excited, and I'm like, yep, you know, it's a birthday party, but it's also a Halloween party, so like we're gonna have Halloween decorations and candy, and you know, I'm dressing up and I'm, you know, asking, like, you don't have to dress up, but I was like, you know, everybody else is gonna dress up, and she was like, oh, if my parents know it's a Halloween party, I won't be able to go. And I'm like, what? What do you mean? Why? And they're like, oh, they're really religious. And I'm like, well, just tell them. 13-year-old me is telling my friends, I like the, you know, the classic orange, black, and white. Close up, they don't look, the white is really, I wish I had some white out. I would have just put white out on my fingernails. Pull out some high school shit. I was a teenager and they were like, Sarah, you don't know what you're talking about. And I'm like, Karen, yeah, I do, because I read. Google that, hop on Wikipedia. Yes, it's a reliable source. Come at me, bro. God, I really don't know where this video is going. We were talking about Halloween. I was telling her how much I loved it and that it was my favorite holiday, and she was like, oh, like, yeah? And I was like, yeah, it's great because you get to dress up and there's Halloween parties to go to normally. You know, it's a fun holiday. Like, there's no downside. It's all just good vibes. And she was just like, okay, Sarah, your trauma's showing. And I'm like, back to what I was saying in the beginning, we got extremely sidetracked. Even if you mean it in like a metaphorical, you know, whatever way, it's like, oh, well, we don't literally mean it's his birthday, we just mean, I'm just like, what do you mean? Explain it, what do you mean? And like, okay, if you don't mean it like literally, like, oh, we just mean it's his figural birthday, like figuratively speaking. It's like, okay, but still explain it to me. And nobody can explain it because they don't know what they're talking about. And you don't need Jesus to have fun. Jesus is great though, don't get me. Jesus, he's great though. Jesus is awesome. He was a super cool dude. He did some really nice stuff. I love Jesus, he's great. Let me see, do I have? No, I don't. And I'm not gonna shit on your holiday, so don't mine. Halloween makes me feel good. and it just gives me so much serotonin. We're just gonna cover you in glitter. We didn't get into any mischief that I remember, at least. And then here I roll and I'm like, hey, what up, witches? We love the spooky season. And they were like, Sarah. Ugh, what is on the table? Is that a bug? Oh my God, it's a bug. What the hell made that noise? God, this looks horrible. Actually, yeah, it looks horrible. I've completely derailed. Why aren't people donating their old Halloween stuff anymore? Don't they know that I want to buy it? This video didn't really go in the direction I intended it to. My nails look like something. You guys for watching. Have a safe and fun Halloween. Get dressed up. You're not going anywhere because I know I am. Carve a pumpkin. Summon a spirit. Don't do that. We don't mess with Ouija boards in this household. And yeah. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys liked it. I know it's kind of all over the place today. Alright, thank you guys so much. Happy Halloween. Love you guys. Stay safe. But like from far away, I feel like they look okay. It's just up close that they are just rough. Okay then, bye.